an energy auditor. So I formally welcome Mr. Sushil Kumar Sharma ji, who had been a mentor, coach, trainer, speaker, and a former general manager at Corporate Sustainability Development Department of NTPC Limited. So without wasting any further time between the audience and the speaker, I welcome you aboard, sir. So thank you for joining us, and I thank Professor Anand Kumar Gupta ji, who is heading Computer Science Engineering Department. Along with him, we have the faculty from CSE department and the worthy students, and we have students from Kashmir, some of the colleges, and we have some students from the Jammu. So we welcome them all on board under the presidence of our director, Shri Ankur Gupta ji. Welcome, sir. Now it is all up to you.
Yeah, thank you, Prevent sir. In fact, it's a pleasure to be today with the northernmost territory of our great nation, the Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir together. Yes, I welcome all the institutes who have joined and individuals from different parts of the country. And I'm sure today's interaction will be enriching more than anyone else than me myself.
Wonderful.
And not taking any more time, I'm just sharing a screen. Once it's come, I start instant. I request all the participants to kindly take note of the slide number, because all slides are numbered, and then can go for question answers at last. What is happening, Praveen sir? This is multiple.
Yeah, so your screen is presenting now, so you can go directly to your slides.
Yeah.
Yes, we can see your slides in the full screen mode now.
Now, interruption free, no issue?
Yeah, no issue, sir.
And the voice is perfectly fine.
Yes, sir. All good.
Good. So once again, I welcome the young minds from Jammu and Kashmir, a beautiful territory of our great motherland, India. And I'm sure there will be a lot of takeaways to individuals and the institutions as a whole. So as we know, startup is a buzzword world over, and it is a matter of pride that India is leading country in a startup in terms of overall startups. We as on now have 61,400 startups. Out of them, 90 have already attained the stage of unicorns, and both these numbers are increasing day by day. We will cover in our deliberations the background in the form of words BU, global warming, climate change, ecosystem deterioration, ESG, the global priority, startups, the budding business, startup ideas, ESG startup, opportunities ahead, and these all happens possible because of the integrative thinker welcomes the challenge of change, shaping the world for the better. With this background, I am very happy to be with MIET fraternity, and along with MIET, various institutes from different parts of Jammu and Kashmir. Going further, are we really facing as mankind question of survival? We look into the present state of affairs with a beautiful scenario from Kashmir only. Ecosystems supports lives on Earth. The healthier the ecosystems, the healthier the planet, and we all. There has never been a more urgent need to revive damaged ecosystem than now. And with this background, the United Nations declared present decade 2021-2030 as a decade on ecosystem restoration. And the main priorities or the aims during this decade are to prevent, halt, and reverse the degradation of ecosystem on every continent and oceans. So it covers entire globe. Ecosystem restoration helps to end poverty, combat climate change, and prevent mass extinctions. So the most serious threats, they are possible to be addressed effectively, efficiently, and in time-bound manner by resorting to ecosystem restorations. Restoration will only succeed if every one of us plays a role positively. That means something is expected from each one of us to make these things successful. And we all, let us remember, nature is the greatest place to heal and recharge. And that's the reason people from world over, they keep rushing to Jammu and Kashmir to be in the lap of beautiful land with beautiful people. Now, I am from NTPC, as is already mentioned by Praveen sir in the beginning. So just look into a brief, the organization with whom I kept growing. This organization took birth in 1975, and I have joined this organization in 1983. Throughout my entire career, I have evolved in present form with this great organization. This organization, as of now, exists in 74 locations across country, not leaving any state or union territory wherein NTPC is not present. With the operational capacity of 67,900 megawatt plus, which is about 16% of capacity of country, we are contributing 24% of entire energy generated in the country. That means we have energy efficiency on an average 30% more than national average. So these are the different forms wherein capacities are indicated. NTPC has coal-based capacities, both owned and in joint ventures, have gas-based stations, have hydro stations, have renewable energy stations, and is developing a variety of alternatives in each, in addition to venturing in green hydrogen, nuclear, and all possible forms of energy. With these efforts, this is the presence pictorially depicted, locations-wise and existing capacities of stations as in existence of all categories together. Now, installed capacity, we have already seen 48 locations are operational, others are coming up. NTPC has been bestowed with the India's best workplaces in manufacturing for current year and is appearing among top 30. Is by Great Place to Work Institute, which is a renowned world over institute. And this is not the first time that NTPC appeared here. This is for the 5th year in succession. NTPC received the company with best CSR practices. What does it mean? Wherever we go, we take care of surroundings more than we take care of ourselves. So neighbors, they are equally important to us. As a result, NTPC received this award in the 8th Asia Business Responsibility Summit organized by Asian Center for Corporate Governance and Sustainability. Year after year, for last 21 years, NTPC is continuing in excellent performance category. As a result, is top performer Maharatna of our great nation. NTPC has been selected as a 2020 ATD Best Award winner by the Association for Talent Development. That is an organization which is a renowned organization, respected world over, is USA organization. So even in their rating, NTPC is fantastic. And NTPC is the first energy company across the globe who declared the Energy Compact at the United Nations during COP26, when our Prime Minister addressed the world community. So we are leader not only in nation, but across the globe as well. And these Energy Compact goals are to progress towards zero carbon or carbon neutrality. It's the largest solar floating station installed by NTPC in one of its reservoir at Ramagundam station. It is going to be world largest solar floating station of 100 megawatt by say in March 2020. This is NTPC in-house concept which has become reality and is now getting scaled up world over. Now, for all these efforts, day before yesterday only, NTPC is facilitated by Energy Minister in a special program organized on the occasion of renewable energy achievement celebration, and NTPC is facilitated with new frontiers in renewable energy. Now, coming up to today's topic, startup. And startups in India are growing and glowing. So this figure we have already seen in beginning slide, 61400 plus startups in India. And India stands among the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. That's only after US and China. So now we are challenging even these two, and time won't be far away. Once our young minds, they take it to their heart, think on it, come up with their own startups. It's raining unicorns has been the motto of the year 2021, with 90 unicorns joining the ecosystem. Many more soonicorns. Soonicorns are a bit stage prior to unicorns, so they will shortly be in the unicorns list. 197 Communications was India's biggest unicorn as of April 2021 in terms of market valuation. The mobile internet company was also one of the highest valued unicorns worldwide. Snapdeal, Byju's, Oyo Rooms, Swiggy, and Zomato. These are the leading startups which are building international image extremely well. Now, these are the different areas wherein startups are adding up. You can find everything is there. And many of these sectors, they are very relevant for Jammu and Kashmir. We will look into them in detail. Now, look into why this environmental change, ecosystem deterioration and restoration, ESG, sustainability, and a lot many things are now in highlights almost every day. The reason behind are because of climate change. We all are experiencing increasing temperatures globally, and I am sure Jammu and Kashmir is now no exception. If you talk to your parents and grandparents, you can yourself listen the experiences and stories how this change in temperature has happened in Jammu and Kashmir and is affecting the ecosystem. Increasing population is putting a lot of pressure on ecosystem. Increasing CO2 concentrations are causing again global warming because of increasing greenhouse gases, and as a result, in circular pattern, they all together are intensifying global warming. So climate change is a critical challenge which is causing ecosystem deterioration, is also affecting natural survival of vegetation as well as humankind. Recently, during COP26, these are few of the eye catchers. There's no planet B. That means we must work and take care of our own planet. Otherwise, it's getting too late. Down below, these are the countries area-wise depicted, where CO2 concentration produced by them is very high, and they are mainly responsible for and contributing substantially in making global warming. India, if we see, we are still in comfortable, but we are more than average because of our increasing GDP and rising patterns. Let us just briefly look into ecosystems. An ecosystem is a geographic area. Any area we can say within boundaries, like MIET campus itself, wherein plants, animals, and other organisms, as well as weather and landscape, work together to form a bubble of life. So that's the ecosystem. Ecosystems contain biotic, or we call them living parts, as well as abiotic factors or non-living parts. Biotic factors includes plants, animals, and other organisms. An ecosystem consists of all the organisms and the physical environment with which they impact. These biotic and abiotic components are linked together through nutrient cycles and energy flows. Energy enters the system through photosynthesis and is incorporated into plant tissues. With this background, United Nations have classified ecosystems in 8 categories. They are farmlands, forests, freshwaters, grasslands, mountains, oceans, peatlands, and urban areas. If we look into Jammu and Kashmir territory, we will find farmlands, forests, freshwaters, mountains, and urban areas. Going further, you see, this is what we dream of from ecosystem perceptions. And Jammu and Kashmir is also shining example for many rich areas alike. This is from Kozhikode in Kerala. And it is termed as ecosystem at its best. It's an aerial view. You see the neat, clean, dense vegetation, or we can say forest. And doing so, India is aiming for leading the world from the front. We come across in real life scenarios like this, and they are too common in Jammu and Kashmir, more so most part of the year, except when snowfall takes place. Areas are extremely beautiful. Even beauty during snowfall attracts tourists en masse. So these are some real life scenarios from our own great nation from different parts of our country. Now let us see what has happened. Why we are talking so much of climate change. as we all believe, seeing is believing. So this is the scenario of our Mother Earth. Now see what has happened. Forest fires, they are increasing in numbers and intensity world over. More so in our Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, and different parts. At times, though rare, there are news from Jammu and Kashmir also. These are fire cases which are happening quite, I will say, with good frequency, unwanted one, fires in urban and industrial areas. All these are causing ecosystem deterioration. Dust storms are very common during summer period in Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab, NCR, and different parts. Droughts, 2/3 of our country at times suffers from the ill effects droughts faced by different parts in various states. Crop residue burning is a big issue which has attracted attention of Supreme Court, Green Tribunal, Government of India, and more so because the environment in NCR and specifically in Delhi, I'm sure you are all aware, during October to February remains poorest. They say that Delhi is now an oven instead of a livable capital. As a result of climate change, temperatures are shooting as high as 55 degrees centigrade. And you see the effects of all these things happening because of the temperature rising in progression. Flash rains, they have become quite frequent and causing a lot of property damages, including all parts of our country, more so in hilly states. Here, these are some flash rains or flood scenarios from metros, and they are very disturbing. They disturbs human life, they disturbs ecology, they disturbs economy, and affect en masse. These are again real life scenarios from different parts of our country. Thundering is very common, and 2021 in the month of June, about 80 plus people, they were affected in Amber Fort in single strike lightning in a place that is Amber near Jaipur. These incidences are also on rise year after year, season after season, and there are repeatedly news from Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Punjab, Haryana, all these states where living beings are affected seriously and there are more casualties. Cyclones, they are also on rise in numbers and intensity, and as all we know, India has coastal line of 7,600 plus kilometers, which is the largest coastal line of any country in the world. As a result, in different parts of our country, in various states along coastal line, there are experiences leading to devastating effects. Hails, now it used to be very rare if we talk 80s and before, but if we talk 2000s and after, they have become quite frequent. As a result, there are serious losses to individuals, states, and economy. Snow showers, nobody have experiences better than people in Kashmir Valley, parts of Jammu. So this is the area where life in Jammu and Kashmir is affected most. And again, if we talk to our parents and grandparents, they will share the experiences and the changes which has happened over time. We have seen a few of the creations and natural happenings. Now, this is another one. Rise in temperature is leading to deterioration of ice slabs in North and South Pole, and the situation has become very serious. Deforestation is another area which is eating out the rich ecosystem existing in forest, and forests are becoming progressively the barren lands. So this change is causing a lot of issues. These are again real life photographs from different parts depicting the present scenario. Industrial pollution and transportation pollution in cities put together is leading to the all, specifically in NCR region, are breathing industrial pollutants instead of fresh air. As a result, health is seriously affected to the extent that average age is also on decline. This is again industrial pollution scenario, and as a result, you will see what is happening, how outcomes are reflected in poor environment of our country. These are all disposals unsystematically, unprofessionally, without any systems. They are happening and creating scenarios like this somewhere in different parts nearby to metros, mini metros, cities. Even villages in far-flung areas are also not spared. They are also affected to quite good extent. These are some scenarios from coastal line. So we have not even spared the sea. That's why sea, they are also one of the focus area in United Nations Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. Oil transportation happens through huge size of tankers carrying thousands kiloliters of oil, thousands and thousands kiloliters of oil. In case of leakages in carriage barrage vessels, they cause pollution and affects both mankind as well as the marine life. Now, as a result of development, everybody wants to be quick, and air travel or mode of air travel is exponentially on rise in India. Airports in numbers and flights in numbers connecting different places are also on exponential rise. And it is established in a study that per passenger maximum pollution per mileage is added by flights, and that too by domestic flights. So this is another area which has now added up and paced up pollution more so in our country as well. Now, satellite launches, they also cause a lot of pollution in the form of heat as well as the fumes or product of combustion. They all together deteriorates the ecosystem. Wars, we are yet listening another war we are on the verge of, which in fact the day before yesterday already started at very mini scale, but if it explodes, then these scenarios are real war site scenarios. Every time, lot of damages to lives, properties, and ecosystems are experienced. With all these real life scenarios and happening, let us see what are the impacts, and more so in India. The hottest temperature around the world, these are the dark patches which are experiencing, wherein temperature recorded is going also extremely high. And if we see our own country, Jammu and Kashmir being here, entire India as far as temperature is concerned is quite hotter than average temperature across the globe. And in specific, Rajasthan, Haryana, part of Madhya Pradesh and NCR. These are the areas which are repeatedly and frequently experiencing quite high temperatures, or we can say the heat waves. These are the listing of different locations in our country along with the recorded temperatures. So these temperatures are on specific days, but if we refer to respective locations' maximum temperatures, they may be a bit different. Now, looking into from pollution point of view, the most polluted countries in the world, they are here. So Bangladesh is as on now the most polluted country, followed by Pakistan, India, and Afghanistan. So these top 4 most polluted countries are all Asian countries, and they are as a result making Asian continent the most polluted continent. If we look into the most polluted cities in the world, this is the listing as latest as 2020. Parameter base is now PM 2.5, except Horton, which is a Chinese city. All these cities are Indians, again followed by Chinese and others. So what we observe here is 15 out of 20 most polluted cities are Indian cities. So this infers to India being the most polluted country and Asia being the most polluted continent. Now, as far as water is concerned, there are news, maybe scarce, but still they are there, even from Jammu and Kashmir, that water stress is experienced. As far as our country is concerned, 54% of our motherland faces high to extreme high water stress. So different color codes, that's the intensity scale here, is depicted. If we look into the consumption of water, most of the water is consumed in irrigation to the extent of more than 85%, followed by domestic and others. Energy consumes only 0.3%, but there are very strict regulation now for water consumption in industry and energy in specific. If we look into the cost of water, it is rising extremely quickly, and there is a need to take care of water as a very precious resource. As a result, Government of India has set up NITI Aayog and a ministry dedicated for water, that is Jal Shakti Mantralaya. They are coming up now with variety of schemes. One of the most prominent scheme addressing potable water requirement is connecting every house in the country with tap water. Is a world over the largest scheme ever taken up for drinking water. The second one is interlinking rivers. And in the budget presented during first week or 1st February, has a provision of plus 46,000 crores of rupees for linking 2 rivers in Bundelkhand, that is Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh region, Ken and Betwa. Once these 2 rivers are linked, one of the driest and hottest area of our country, which we can say is this area, this will get considerable relief. And there are 5 more schemes which are proposed for implementation in time ahead. And the numbers will keep on increasing. Now, let us look into the ecosystem deterioration causes, the effects of deterioration, and the social impacts. So coal-based power stations are identified as one of the most polluting source, and now there is a declaration, no more coal stations. Why? India. rapid industrialization is continuing, but there is a substantial scope for improving upon energy efficiency, and there are a series of schemes government have come up incentivizing efficiency improvement and energy conservation schemes implementation in industries. Resource extraction, yes, it is very much needed for running our industries and cannot be zero down. Definitely there is a scope for improvement in quality and is happening. One of the example is washing coal at source station, that is at mine end. Transportation cause a lot of pollution. We have discussed about aviation as well. Deforestation we have seen, pollution we have seen through real life pictures. Agricultural practices, agriculture consumes the most water, 85%, and then now there are schemes which are promoting least usage of water in agriculture. Some of the examples are drip irrigation, then substitution of crops based on water availability in different regions, and then there are improved varieties of crops which require less water. Consumer practices are responsible for a large extent. If we see our own consumption, we can ourselves very judiciously reduce our water consumption. We can reduce electricity consumption at individual level, and we can contribute improving the efficiency, effectiveness, and the pace of deterioration of ecosystem. Livestock is another region which contributes. Now, effects, we have also seen rising temperatures. Rising sea levels is another example. Population living in and around coastal areas, their lives are at threat because sea levels are rising continually. Weather patterns are changing unpredictably. Increase in extreme weather events we have discussed. Land degradation we have seen, main reason being deforestation and desertification, loss of wildlife and biodiversity as a result of deforestation, submergence, and various other reasons. Now, what are the social impacts of deteriorating ecosystem? They are in the form of loss of livelihood. People are forced to move from places to places. Hunger, poverty, water shortages, food shortages, malnutrition, displacement, and diseases spreads. So these are the social impacts at large various societies and countries are facing. Now, with background we have seen where we stand, we really are facing a question of survival. It's already getting too late, and we must contribute individually and collectively the best we can. Herein is a sustainability circle of globe. This is after a decade time, and we see the 4 quadrants beginning with ecology, cultural, political, that is governance, and economics. On these quadrants, if we see the most poorest, which reflects effect of ecosystem deterioration, is ecology. It scores only 44%, with 31 on a scale of 70, and the poorest being, as we have seen, emission and waste in all the 3 forms, gaseous, liquid, and solid waste. We have seen materials and energy requirements, and the deterioration is very fast. Water and air is polluted. Habitat and food both are in short supply, not in India, but world over, and are affecting lives to great extent. So this being the concern, sustainable development through ecosystem restoration is call of time. Cultural score is quite good, 83%, that is 58 out of 70 points. Politics also scores nearby, 77%, and economics, 76%. So with this background, United Nations started working on Sustainable Development Goals. They were adopted in September 2015, and objective is to transform our world as a whole. These goals begins with no poverty, zero hunger. We have seen the effects of deterioration of ecosystem. Good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, and goals continue further with 17 number goal being partnership to achieve the goals. That means the 16 goals, they can be achieved individually to limited extent, but collectively through partnerships between societies, states, and nations, they can be achieved quickly. So that's the reason it promotes partnership in achieving the goals. Now, if we look into the recently declared goal, the topic we are talking, ecosystem restoration, is a decade goal for 2021-2030 of United Nations. And we have seen a lot about ecosystem. Now, coming to sustainability themes or pillars, we say ESG is the basis for evaluating and working upon in a focused manner on sustainability. First pillar is environment. There are 20 themes, and this is a circle for environmental progression over a decade of period of decade. Dotted one pattern is for 2008 and a dark one is 2018. The changes which are experienced on these themes during this period are depicted here. As time is limited, I want to read out these themes, but they can be definitely discussed further if required at last. Likewise, second pillar is social, and here societal themes are 25 in number. In the same way, pattern is depicted for 2008, dotted one, and the dark one is 2018, and the shift between two is showing the deterioration or improvement over these 10 years between 2008 and 18. So the third and most important theme is corporate governance, wherein themes are 15 in numbers, and the same way pattern is depicted. Government is putting a lot of focus on corporate governance, functions through various committees, reporting, compliance, and all. So now you see the improvement during the decade is substantial improvement. And once this have achieved good base, now this improvement will benefit all these themes, and system is likely to improve through partnership quite quickly. This is a ESG framework, again based on 3 pillars: environmental, social, and governance. If we look into environmental, it addresses energy management, CO2 footprint, energy intensity, and various other themes. We have already seen them in detail. About social capital, human rights, and community relations are focused. Human capital is employee engagement, diversity and inclusion, health and safety. In business model and innovation, it's supply chain management and innovation. And in governance, that is leadership and governance, business ethics, privacy, cyber security, enterprise risk management. So these are the prominent themes out of all. Now coming ESG journey is a long way to go. It have just started in our country. Now, as per BSc, NSE directives, top thousands listed companies, they are to mandatorily report BRSR, that is Business Responsibility and Sustainability Report, from coming financial year 2022-2023. So it's becoming mandatory and becoming for at a time top thousands listed companies. So there is a substantial scope for thinking on this background about sustainability and ESG, and there are a lot of opportunities for a startup to be set up. Fantastic potential exists. If we see ESG rating, top 10 countries are here. And if we see further, there are overall 65, wherein these ratings are available on environmental, social, and governance pillars. And India, we as a country right now is at 56th place from 65. So we need to go a long way to become or attain a position which is respectable, say, among the top 10. So this also explains there is a lot of potential for young minds to focus on ESG issues and think of. Now, ESG, its importance is growing world over. Leadership is focusing on ESG. Governments are also very supportive through directives and policy changes. ESG aims at promoting transparency, and ESG framework promotes business of enduring values. These are some new terms for our young minds in graduation, but they are all practical and much needed in industrial or startup environment. Investment in ESG schemes are yielding better returns. Individual and institutional investors are promoting ESG framework implementation. Companies with the better ESG rating performs better than their peers, and it is proved during the market sell-off, which was experienced world over, more so in India during March-April 2020. This is as per the research work outcomes. ESG, as on now, is impeded by inadequate data reporting and measurement concerns. That is a reason Government of India has come up with a framework, BRSR, Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting. Now, coming up to startups, we look into how to do, what are real success stories and potentials. Business ideas, they keep coming to our mind on continual basis. We can't live except being during meditation in silence. So it's a natural happening which keep on going. We are to be a careful reader of ourselves. Now, best startup ideas, we look into some statistics. Economic survey which was presented on 31st January 2022 in Parliament brings out Startup Capital Delhi is now leading with 5,000 startups in the Delhi area. Bengaluru, which used to be the leader till last year, is now second with 4,515 startups there. As a state, Maharashtra is the leading state with 11,300 plus startups. The top 10 startups are coming up at right part. These are the top 10 Indian startups which has catch up the news nationally and globally. And if you look into the present advertisement on different channels, their content and frequency is occupying good time. That means they are all now commercially very visual as well as successful financially. So if we want to progress on a startup journey, there are few aspects we need to understand well. Begins with risk management. We have already seen requirement for ESG reporting. It presents a lot of potential for coming up startups. Then due diligence is in fact check and balances which are to be exercised before BRSR is done. And finance, sustainable finance is the requirement wherein we see a lot of finances are flowing for a startup, and government of schemes are supporting startups in exemplary manner. Corporate governance, we have seen the substantial improvement, and there is scope still to progress in this field. Government investigations and enforcement, they are to maintain integrity, transparency, and promote ethical practices, and check the hide and seek game. Dispute resolution framework is made now quite transparent and has good speed. So with all these issues in background, the possibilities for startups, they prevails everywhere. You name anything, they are there, and they are in fact happening. Business services and human resources is area, energy and environment, gaming, media and entertainment. You yourself can name few startups which have become catchy in all these sectors. So finance and insurance, including real estate, education and social enterprise is picking up extremely fast. And there are now apps which are coming up from India, and the best shining example is Coup, which have become the most attractive, simplified app from India, world over. And there are, what I should say, hundreds of countries which are now approaching government of India and making use of the app Coup. Logistics and transport is an area wherein a lot of startups have come up and many are in the stage of coming up. Healthcare, medicine availability, online consultation, all are evolving very quickly. Retail and commerce, yes, we find there is a change in mindset of consumers as well as service providers, and things are now happening online more than physical business. Travel, leisure, food and beverage, this presents one of the highest possibilities for Jammu and Kashmir put together. And I'm sure you all will think and must think very deeply, widely, in divergent way, and identify opportunities for becoming your own boss. And then there are many other areas which can also be discussed upon. So we have seen this is other way of putting up things, the previous one. Now going green is not new. It was happening, but there is a renewed demand driving how ESG scales up because of ecosystem deterioration and ill effects of ecosystem deterioration on mankind, creatures, and all. Now, 66% of startups are concentrated in the top 3 cities. We have already discussed about them. Bangalore, Delhi we have discussed. Now it is say NCR and Mumbai. But it is a matter of pride that most of the states, they have also come up. All the states now, by now, have startups, though varying in number. And if we see top cities, we have already seen. If we see the emerging cities, they are Chennai, Pune, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, Jaipur, and so on. So this is a journey which will continue. Now, ecosystem restoration is assisting the recovery of ecosystems that have been degraded or destroyed, conserving the ecosystems that are still intact. So it is both sides of the coin. One part is recovery, other part is conservation. That means doing together, enriching our ecosystem. Healthier the ecosystems with richer biodiversity yields greater benefit, such as more fertile soils, bigger and better yields of timber and fishes, and larger stores of greenhouse gases. So that's why Government of India have taken one objective as planting 1 billion trees a year for next 10 years. And NTPC as organization have also taken a pledge to plant 1 million trees every year. By 2030, the restoration of 350 million hectares of degraded terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems, they are estimated to generate revenue of $9 trillion in the form of ecosystem services and provide job opportunities to millions and millions of people. Ecosystem restoration could remove 13 to 26 gigatons. It depends on the pace of implementation. Gigatons of greenhouse gases from the atmosphere, thereby containing the pattern of temperature rise, finally reversing it. The economic benefits of such interventions, this is the point to be noted by we all individually. The economic benefit of such interventions exceeds 9 times the cost of investment. That means if 1 lakh rupee is invested in such interventions or ecosystem restoration efforts and activities, gains are 9 lakhs. Whereas if we do not invest 1 lakh rupees, then losses otherwise, what we have seen in different forms, they are 3 times. So overall difference by taking a decision of making investment or not varies from 0 to or -3 to 9. That means 12 times is the impact. These are some historical success stories which were initiated by individuals. They became national and international eye catchers. And it starts with, which was started by a lady, Gaura Devi, in Uttarakhand. Subsequently, which is known as Chipko movement. And along with Gaura Devi, Mr. Chandi Prasad Bhatt, he was the person associated with it. These two people together started, en masse people supported, and this was finally led by the more known man, Sundarlal Bahura. These are real life scenarios with some even year mentioned there, and these are some latest one. As a result, lot of gains are observed in hilly areas, particularly in Uttarakhand. The 5 objectives of Chipko movement, they were to preserve or enrich food, fodder, fuel, fiber, and fertilizers. So all are required for a self-sustainable society. That's why this movement gained grounds and became one of the successful en masse participation movement. The other man, individually, he created miracles, is Mr. Jadab Payong from Assam. He started plantation at very tender age. Now he is 76 years and has already planted 550 hectares or more than 1,300 acres of land individually. So he has turned barren land into green, rich biodiversity. In other terms, we say the green forest, and as a result, he is known as the forest man. For his contribution, he has received many awards, and his work is now getting honored. This is long back our then President of India facilitated him, and he is recipient of a Padma Shri award. Now, another gentleman who have made a noticeable change, which is taken note by world community, and he also received national and international recognition for his efforts in Rajasthan. His contribution, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, is he revived 5 rivers and brought water to more than thousands villages in otherwise most dry state of our country, that's Rajasthan. So individuals and groups, they have made the changes earlier. Now you see this beautiful village. This is in one of the dry area of our country, and this is a Dharmaj village which is between Barodara and Ahmedabad. Population is plus 20,000 only, but infrastructure developed in a village and maintained is better than any metro city. As a result, tourists from world over, they are visiting this village every day, and their revenues speaks volumes. This village has now 12 nationalized bank branches, full branches of 12 nationalized banks, wherein net deposits yearly by villagers of population 20,000 plus exceeds 1,500 crores a year. So lot of contribution have come up. This is another mass movement which was undertaken by government of Madhya Pradesh. In a duration on a single day of 12 hours, 1.5 million volunteers were mobilized, mostly school students and residents living along river Narmada in Madhya Pradesh. They planted 66 million trees. 66 million trees in 12 hours were planted by 1.5 million volunteers, and for these efforts, this is recorded in Guinness Book of World Records. So there are very good things happening, both individual, society and governments. Now coming up to specific startups of present times, a young team of engineers from IIT Mumbai, and they ventured in hydroponics. That is, crops are grown without soil by using mineral nutrient solutions in purified water. And they say their technology as Internet of Things technology for growing foods. Their startup is named as Eki Foods. You can find it on Google, and a lot of details are available now. The boy who started this one were from IIT graduates Amit Kumar and Abhay Singh, and they are now in one of the hottest location, Kota in Rajasthan. They are growing 100% organic Indian staple vegetables and fruits. These are the varieties they are growing instead of green Indian traditional staples. Startup does not use cocoa peat or husk or any other growing medium. Instead, they employ what they call an Internet of Things, IoT enabled, completely mediumless growing chambers technology. So out of box thinking and implementation in real life, and succeeding in their venture as startup Eki Foods. The next one is Organic Acres. This is on the borders of Delhi. Is engineer Minnal and Lakshya Dabaj. They are from Jatkhor village. They started on their parental land 28 acres of agricultural land and has become very successful startup. Now, just a minute. Mr. Mrinal and Lakshya, they are delivering their organic produce now across Metro Delhi, and their only requirement is that individuals should subscribe for 5,000 rupees a month, and online system is functional. Every day during morning hours before 7 a.m. they deliver organic fresh vegetables from farm to individual consumers. Other one is Mr. Kishore, who set up seed farm, is a dairy on outskirts of Hyderabad city near airport. Mr. Kishore is IIT graduate from Kharagpur, and then he did a master's and doctorate from University of Muscat. He served there for 6 years in Intel, one of the world leader in its field, but despite being there, he did not find his strategy or dreams coming true. He returned to India, set up a dairy, beginning with 20 cows, and now his business has grown exponentially over, say, last less than 10 years, and have achieved turnover of 44 crores. The down below picture reflects the achievements and the satisfaction on the faces of young team. So he has generated employment for young minds and is providing organic milk free of chemicals, fresh cow milk, which is excellent for health, at doorstep. Another young engineer from Tamil Nadu, after graduation, he returned to his native place and venture in organic farming and pisciculture. He has made his footprints visible and doing fantastic for his family. These 3 young brothers, they are working in different parts of country individually. They came across this pearl farming, brainstormed, agreed together to come back to their village, venture into pearl farming, and now they are spreading across Uttar Pradesh. 3 districts they have already covered, and they are helping now 180 farmers, and this is catching ground exponentially fast. He is a scientist from Orissa. We all know sweet potatoes, but he ventured in doing experiments with sweet potatoes, has developed different varieties of potatoes, sweet potatoes, having different medicinal values. And now this venture is also going quite good. Is another gentleman, we see age is no bar for doing something different, is Ratan Lal Daga in his plus 70s from Bhasar Kotari village in Rajasthan. He again experimented out of box. He developed curd-based fertilizers and is doing his own organic farming, benefiting a lot of neighbors and farmers, providing organic produce. He is a young boy from Maharashtra. He has developed an app which is in local language Marathi and is facilitating Marathi people understanding only Marathi with a lot of useful practical tips, and his app has become one among the most popular app for Marathi people. Is Royal Setkari. He is also running a YouTube channel. This is an engineer from Gandhinagar. He experimented different things, finally ventured in water harvesting, and now is promoting water harvesting. His efforts of about less than 3 years have already yielded conservation of more than 10 crores liters of water. He is a ventured startup on outskirts of Bengaluru with bamboo houses. They are made of bamboo as base material and is getting ground very quickly. Variety of now constructions are being done. If we visit Bangalore, we can definitely meet, interact and learn from Mr. Parameswaran Krishna Iyer. He is a young, I will say, peer. They are former pilot of the Indian Air Force, still smiling faces for their contributions and achievements. Shashi Shekhar Pathak with spouse Devika. They launched their startup Bamboochi to make cycles from bamboo. These cycles are made out of bamboo, most part of them. The company offers electric, foldable and tandem versions, and they are customized to individual customer requirements. Now, solar services are growing across nation. Demand is exponential high. Government of India have declared a scheme to make agriculture free of diesel consumption. So that means government aims to reduce petroleum product import, substitute electricity by solar systems. Another, the solar systems are picking up extremely fast in metros, mini metros, towns, and even villages. Even rural area, we can see them coming up quickly. So all these put together, they offer a lot of opportunities for young minds to think differently, act in their own way, come up with startups. Organic greenhouses, yes, both Jammu and Kashmir area, they are known for content and quality of fruits. Himachal is known for vegetables as well, along with fruits. Now, there are a lot of opportunities. There are vertical way of doing farming in greenhouses, and chains of greenhouses, they are coming up is an area for taking up startups. He is a scientist from Kerala. He developed soil-less rooftop vegetable gardens, and these gardens are again soil-less. They use different practices, and they are all grown in bags. Again, organic fruits, vegetables, flowers, even interiors and external decorations and all, they are growing very fast. So all these put together, we are still facing COVID. Wave third is likely going away, but we don't know what is the future. And as a result, Ayurvedic produce demand is at its best. A lot of startups have come up in this field and they are doing extremely well. Organic produce, we have seen. Now, to systematize supply, these organic outlets, a chain of organic outlets is a way of making a visible difference, and this presents a lot of opportunities for people to begin with, venture in startups. 100% organic products, dedicated shops are coming, and they are gaining grounds, becoming very popular quickly, because every one of us is now feeling heat of medicines and medical treatments. As a result, we all want to get rid of chemical consumptions in any of its form. So finally, I will be summing up. Startup ideas, I'm just putting some points to think. Manufacturing eatable cutlery. Plastic-based cutlery is causing a lot of pollution. Reprocessing is a issue. Now there are eatable cutlery available and they are becoming very popular. So it's one of the area. Making green leaf plates and bowls. It used to be the tradition of our country till 80s or even before than that. But later on, this dominance of plastic slowly affected this area. Because of ill effects of plastic, this is gaining ground again and making green leaves, plates and cutlery that present a lot of opportunities. Solar systems we have seen. Solar system services provides good opportunities for startups. Solar system setup promoting cooperatives. So cooperatives can be constituted and a startup can take a lead promoting cooperatives and solar system installations through cooperatives. Pollution monitoring and management is an area of concern, presents a lot of opportunities. Government directives are becoming stringent, and compliance is need of the time. That's why this also presents a lot of opportunities. Energy auditing, verification, incentives are available, and government schemes, they promote new ventures in the form of startups in energy auditing, energy efficiency, etc. Manufacturing biofuel pellet. Government has come up with a scheme declared in present budget that all the coal stations across country now must switch to biofuels progressively. As on now, directive is to use biofuel in coal stations up to 7% to begin with. NTPC has carried out successful study during 2018 and results were extremely well. As a result, NTPC has decided to use 2 million metric tons of biofuel pellets across its stations in different parts of country. Now, this presents a lot of opportunities for startups to venture into this picking up field. Conversion of plastic into fuel. There are now mature technologies. Directly, plastic waste is converted into diesel and petrol and is very economical and efficient. So this is a sample of eatable cutlery in different further. ESG area we have seen in detail. So apps relating ESG presents one opportunity. Organic milk dairy, we have seen successful examples, presents another area. Greenhouses, yes, good opportunity for startups. Solar cold storage, which may be extremely useful in Jammu and Kashmir for preserving produce or fruits, I will say, in their own respective locations and then taking them out when prices in market are quite good. Otherwise, most of they get either taken to different locations at very cheap prices or they get damaged. Energy storage services and mini green smart grids also present good opportunities in particularly Kashmir area. ESG focused investments, different platforms are there which supports the initiatives through providing venture capital, and government of schemes are also there which are making required finances available even without bank guarantees. So again, carbon accounting and compensation services, they are now emerging and they are an area wherein young minds can venture in. Startup India is the program. I think many of you must have definitely heard it. It is appearing quite frequently in different news channels. Achievements are being shared. In addition to that, for individual updation, kindly refer to the latest guru, that's Google. These are the top startups which have matured during the year 2021. So these are listing up to 102, and these are successful pictorials along with their, if you want, the website. Now, the startups specific to Jammu and Kashmir, you all may be aware that Jammu startup community, this community is created by the people of Jammu for the people of Jammu and to help Jammu startups. Likewise, there are platforms in Kashmir also. So these developments are quite positive. These are some of the successful startups from Jammu and Kashmir, and they are in fact full details available. If you refer to Google, you will get all relevant inputs. If not, you can connect to me and we can definitely share relevant inputs. These are angel funded coming up or maturing startups in Jammu and Kashmir. More than me, you all may be aware about them, and things are changing quite fast. So it's time to conceptualize our idea and move ahead with challenging our own potential and making footprints visible. Now, few points I propose for MIET Jammu and participating institutions in today's this webinar. They are food for thought. I'm sure many of them in some stages or other, you may be doing or must have been thinking, but let us make them a reality. Incubation center, if it is existing, kindly add up ESG startups there. Integrating solar lighting systems with existing systems, and they yields very quick returns. Environment, more so in Jammu, being quite clean, neat for most of the parts of season, except rainy season for few months. But during rainy season also, there are days when light is more than enough. Natural lighting ducts and chimney, they are becoming quite popular in green buildings, and retrofits are available for existing setups. Green buildings, if institutions are looking for a new campus or for expansion of existing campus, kindly consider this issue. It pays back very quickly, in addition to building a reputation of the organization. Rooftop solar systems are there, which are very successful generating energy, as well as now systems has come up for even supporting air conditioning systems, solar-based air conditioning. Organic flowers and fruit gardens, they make a visible, very deep impact. I have seen through available visuals about MIET Jammu. It is a very beautiful, vast campus. Lot of opportunities exist for enriching the existing ecosystem by intensifying efforts in organic flowers and fruits gardens. Manure from organic and canteen waste, another very valuable opportunity. Greenhouses for promoting both flowers and fruits, vegetations, etc. Rainwater harvesting helps a lot. There are government schemes financially supporting rainwater harvesting, and I appeal to institutions to kindly explore the possibilities and make your campus neat, clean, and smart. This is the point I have already discussed earlier, solar supported air conditioning. And finally, clean and green campus, that is generating wealth from waste. So these are few of the points which came to my mind to share with all the institutions and I am sure one or two triggers, if you take up in individual institutions, contributions will be quite good. So let us help and contribute our part in Startup India and make our country proud. Now, as my own professional learning and experiences goes, I am offering these topics. Begins with startups, climate change. We are already discussing today ecosystem restoration. That is sustainable development goals, integration in business processes, ESG performance evaluation, life cycle assessment, net zero, circular economy, sustainable business practices, Indian energy sector, inclusive of this is a merit order rating based energy sourcing, energy auditing, energy efficiency and improvement action plans, corporate social responsibility, and this is another area which impacts we all, learning, living, and leading by values. The great man of our nation, known world over for his out-of-box thinking and contributions, he says, arise, awake, and stop not until the goal is achieved. Swami Vivekananda ji. With his message, I am coming to close and opening up the stage for all connected people and faculties for questions and answers. So thank you. These are down below my contact details. And before you come up with questions, let me welcome each one of you to kindly connect with me on LinkedIn. If you are already available on LinkedIn, kindly connect. I will welcome you all. If you are not in LinkedIn, kindly open your LinkedIn account because it's the most useful professional platform wherein you can source and get networked globally without any investment. So with these words, I say thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It is a really wonderful session. And now as you have opened the session for question and answers, so I would request all the students, faculty to write down their queries in the chat section, and we'll take up first come first basis questions and answers.
Yes, please.
Yeah, in the meanwhile, I must appreciate the kind of effort that you have taken up for customizing this presentation for our college, MIET, and for the region of Jammu and Kashmir. And we actually look forward to so much of guidance from you on this aspect, because this is the space which all startups should explore and should operate in, because once we start working towards ecosystem restoration, we are going to live in a better world from today.
Sure, well said. And thank you. I will be more than happy to associate and contribute in whatsoever ways it is required and is possible. Thank you.
Right. So, sir, as I see that we have just been overshooting on the timelines, so maybe what I will do, I will share these queries which come to us, to you over email for this session. And because we have our students who are lined up for their sessional exam in the second half of today.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll have this question answer emailed to you, so that you
Fine.
can respond to them as per your own time.
Fine, fine, no issue.
And on behalf of the college and the Institution Innovation Council, I'm presenting to you this small token of love from our college as a memento for delivering this session for our students and for the region of Jammu and Kashmir. And soon an appreciation letter will follow over email to you. And this is not the end of the session. I must say this is just a beginning, wherein our students, our college, and the region at par will start thinking and developing startups in the ESG domain.
Certainly, sure, well said. I wish that before participants go away, you can ask them all to switch on videos, and you can take some screenshots. It will become memory for the all.
Yes, I agree with you, sir. So, students, I want all of you to turn on your cameras now, and we can have a quick snapshot which becomes a memory for our today's session. Okay, possibly, sir, students would be having some bandwidth issues considering the video because the network in this part of the country is sometimes very poor on 2G or some other line.
Right. Okay, I understand.
So still, I'm taking a snapshot of whomsoever is visible.
Right.
So I'll take this snapshot at the count of 3.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, and here we go. Okay, so I've taken the snapshot, and thank you all for attending so diligently and becoming such a great audience, students. I want to give the vote of thanks to the worthy director, Ankur Gupta ji, who has allowed us to perform this session, and our Vice President IIC, Dr. Sahil Sani, our head of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering Department, Dr. Anand Kumar Gupta, Shafalika ma'am, and Government College of Women, Navakadal Srinagar, Stephens College of Paramedical Sciences, faculty and the students from there, as well as our worthy students of MIET College, who have made us proud every time. And this time also, I'm sure that our students are going to do at least 4 to 5 startups in the ESG domain.
That's great.
In the coming year. So with this, I thank you all for being part of this session, and nonetheless, Sushil sir will be in touch and will be having great objectives to be achieved in the coming year.
Sure, definitely. We will certainly team up and attempt to see that concepts becomes reality.
Right, absolutely, sir. Okay, have a nice time, everyone. Thank you, sir. Have a nice time to you also.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Wish you all the best. Kindly join on LinkedIn. Once again, I am inviting you all, and we keep sharing professionally enriching material along with real life success stories.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you all. Bye.
I am disconnecting now.
Yes, sir. I'm just stopping the recording now.